Welcome to part 2 of my must-have top pick cards for each and every hero. Part 1 we talked about carries and mid laners, so if you are interested in that, check that video out. In this video though, we're checking everybody else out. We've now moved on to off laners, and remember, this is just general categories that we're going with here. Aurora, no surprise here. Shadow Dancer is an absolute must-have on Aurora. Enter the Shadow Plane and gain 50 movement speed for 15 seconds. Easy rotations, easy getting into position with limited vision now in version 42. All you have to do is pop the ultimate and there's an easy win. Ideally. I mean, it is so unbelievably amazing on Aurora. It's an absolute must-have. Another really good thing about it is it actually doesn't reveal Aurora until she explodes with the dot. So, like her wind-up, as she spins, the enemy hears it, but they don't see it. So, it's just so good on Aurora. If you thought the days of crazy Graystone, bruiser, tank, damage dealer is over, it's not. Sacred Alchemy here on Graystone, any bruiser really, but it's great on Feng Mal as well, is ridiculous. 8 agility, 4 vitality, gain power, attack speed, and health to gain shielding strikes. Gain shield equal to 20% of basic damage dealt. He's unstoppable. He's unfreaking stoppable. He deals a great amount of damage to gain a shield that only increases his ridiculous sustain so that nobody can deal with him. He just kind of keeps going. Shields himself. He has his ult. He has his escape. It is absolutely bonkers. Now, this one should come to no surprise as well. Kalari, Deathcrawler. Those two hand in hand, 100%, without a doubt. Basically, it means that first attack out of stealth, at least every 8 seconds, deals triple damage. Freaking triple damage. Absolutely insane. I got it up to, what was it, 1400 damage? 1400 damage, and that was against a Yin that had 17 points into agility, meaning a ton of basic armor, which means it was reducing my basic damage a ton. But if that was still 1400 damage, it was absolutely insane. A must-have on Kalari, no doubt. Now for Feng Mal, again, Sacred Alchemy. It's simply too good for Brawler Bruisers to give up. Plus, Feng Mal can have his own shield where he can use to help mitigate more bursty moments. But again, Feng Mal, he does a tremendous amount of damage as well, and this just really feeds into his fantastic, absolutely fantastic sustain. So you gain that shield, 20% of basic damage dealt, helps him dive that backline and be that frontline presence. Now Kwang here, he mixes it up a bit because of his passive lifesteal. Malink's Tribute, that's where this comes in, maybe in addition to Sacred Alchemy. Gain a shield for any healing above maximum health, 20% maximum. So with Kwang, you just gotta clear some minion camps, clear some minions, get that shield up, and you have 20% extra health. That's just sitting there as a shield. Plus, you can get Sacred Alchemy. Sure, well, you can get it. Why not? Like, go ahead. Because it just makes him absolutely unstoppable. Crazy. I'm at a bit of a loss for Grux. Shadow Dancer, going into the Shadow Plane sounds really good because of his gank potential and his AoE ult stun. But I think we just have to go back to Sacred Alchemy. It's a really strong card at the moment. As a frontline brawler, damage dealer, Grux, he's just really good. He's kind of like Howitzer. He's just a really good hero overall. He has a pull, he has stun, he has a CC, he has good damage, he has good burst, he has a good, like, he's just a solid hero. And you know what? A solid card matches well. Now, we're obviously moved on to junglers, as Grux is a fantastic jungler that can also be in the off lane as well. So Chimera here definitely moved on to junglers. Interestingly enough, this is a card I would highly recommend with Chimera, and it's different. Still, tons of other great cards, but I think Chimera can get away with this. Sorvek's Initiate gives him 410 health, 48 ability armor, perfect tankiness for a hero like Chimera that has good damage and burst with him, but Sacrificial Link. Create a link with an enemy hero. Both heroes take 8% max health in ability damage per second. Continues until the link is broken by distance or it's interrupted. Every 35 seconds you can use this. On a hero with an okay mana usage, especially in the mid and late game, you know what? Chimera can heal against that this damage, the Sacrificial Link damage, easily with that ability armor that's on the card. That 8% will be reduced dramatically, and the broken by distance won't happen because he's Chimera. What a fantastic card that is a little bit different, to be honest. Now, if you thought radiate damage was something else, this takes it to a whole new level. On Mr. Rampage here, with that insane health regen through his ultimate, Withering Shadow can do a lot. 20 power, 395 health to deal 125 ability damage to Rampage himself and nearby enemy units per second. Of course, you're going to build your Rampage with some ability armor as well on another card, maybe the same card as the one we just did on Chimera, but you can also do this. So insane damage potential when you consider you can be, you know, defending an inhibitor push to, you know, also affect minions, or diving an inhibitor to clear that minion wave as well. Plus the 5 enemy heroes, like, that's tremendous value that can go a long way on Rampage. I don't know if this is the card I would recommend, to be honest with you, but if there's one hero I'm going to try it on, it would likely be Sevarog, and honestly, maybe Richter as well. Red Zone. Nearby heroes both deal and receive 50% bonus damage. So why am I recommending this on Sevarog? Well, he can use the agility, the attack speed for sure. He can use the vitality as a tanky frontline hero to compound his stacks, and he can use the knowledge to help with his ability usage, which is just damn good because he has damn good abilities. The power he scales tremendously well from. The health to be a tanky scales tremendously well from as well. And the mana for his mana usage. Both him and Richter, I find, are similar in that way, just different in their roles. Nearby heroes both deal and receive. Sevarog here, he's a great initiator with a stealth buff, with just a subjugate into... He is the playmaker, so he can either utilize this very well, or I guess I can go badly, but you know what? If anybody's going to pull it off, Red Zone on Sevarog, I think is it. And now we move on to supports. We have Richter here. Yeah, I did maybe suggest you could use Red Zone on him like Sevarog, but there's another card here that also works quite well. Richter and Plague Lord Malank. Power, because Richter he does deal a lot of damage naturally as well. Health, he's tankiness, and mana for his abilities. Nearby enemy heroes have Blight, which reduces their healing from lifesteal, etc., etc. And there's a lot of healing cards now, so that's going to have tremendous value, which you can definitely think of as damage. So it basically is. If you would have let them heal, you have to deal damage to remove it. But there's also a movement speed slow aura. Nearby enemy heroes are slowed by 80. So not only can you root people in place with your ultimate and make it easier to hit your ultimate, when you silence and slow them, it's even compounded further. And when you pull heroes into you, now they're also slowed and have Blight on them. So Plague Lord Malank is a great thing that complements Richter in every single way. Now, Plague Lord Malank still works well on Steel, as when he ults in, now everybody's slowed and they have Blight. Probably going to want to, you know, the sports probably want to click their heal button right after a steal ult. But I have to go with Shadow Dancer. I have to. Power and armor. Perfect. Enter the shadow plane and gain 50 movement speed again for 15 seconds. He can just get into position. Easy peasy ultimate. Easy peasy engagement. Basic armor to counteract his passive that gives him tremendous ability damage mitigation. It's perfect. Perfect. Now, it should come to no surprise what we should recommend here for phase. That is Vital Waters. It's basically Clear Heart from before, but it has another effect. 7 health, or 7 vitality to gain 325 health. Perfect for a support here. And 6 health regen. That's a much more than what the Clear Heart gave back then. And I don't even think it gave, actually, health regen. But the passive here is much different. Increases all healing effects cast and received by 15%. So not only is her healing increased on herself by 15%, which also gets transferred to the target, but the 15% and whatever else health regen she has on her goes through to the enemy, to your ally. That is also again increased by 15%. This also works with healing cards, that there's much more of them now, so this is absolutely worth it. Vital Waters on phase, 100% must have. Decker is a hard one to recommend just one card for. Obviously, she is an amazing support, an amazing play setter-upper with her stun and her ultimate, but I think Domain of Stillness could be something you do. So 16 power, okay, that's whatever on Decker. The 230 mana is definitely useful, but the group stasis part could work. Stasis yourself and all nearby heroes for 2.5 seconds. And every 90 seconds, costing 100 mana. Now, hear me out. Decker, what you can do, once you're tanky, maybe with some cards and etc., maybe you can just beeline it right for the enemy team, come out of nowhere, blink, charm, or even the Shadow Dancer that goes into the Shadow Realm. Hey, to get into position for a good fence, what you can do is come out of nowhere and stasis yourself and the whole enemy team. Maybe you have an ally with you, whatever. Stasis the enemy team, or in some of your team, to keep them there for 2.5 seconds while the rest of your team comes in to be there for the team fight. Then once that stasis is done, boom, you put down your containment fence and you have set the stage for a good engagement. It's an idea. Decker's just a fantastic support and she'll be able to use all the other fantastic support cards out there, but Shadow Dancer, go into the Shadow Plane with Domain of Stillness, get right up inside the enemy team, group stasis to let your team kind of help to kind of reach the battlefield. There's your stasis fence, or your containment fence. I don't know. What do you think about this one for Decker? Vital Waters, I think, is one for Narbash. That's pretty necessary. There's tons of other cards that, depending on how you want to play them, how aggressive you want to be, you can get away with. No, I'm not, go ahead. But I think with Narbash's Song of My People, and with the other fantastic healing cards that are out there for supports, I think Narbash can really, really utilize this. Not only is it going to buff, you know, by 15%, all of the casts, all the healing that he does through his kit, through that one ability, and obviously, and in my opinion, it has a high mana cost, so if you can get more value out of it, all the better. It'll also affect all the healing cards you have on Narbash. So there's tons of other cards. If you want to play Chaos, if you want to play Death Narbash, there are some options, but I'm just saying Vital Waters, probably as a support, the most needed option. Finally, we've reached the last hero, my favorite, Muriel. And to be honest, you might be disappointed by the card I recommend the most for Muriel for a number of reasons. Yes, the most exciting thing for me right now is my you know, death damage Muriel deck. But she's a support. She's a support at heart. And her shields are fantastic, and there's great shielding cards. But I think, to be honest with you, the healing goes a longer way. She already can shield people to mitigate damage. So that's what you do with that. Then you gotta heal people for the damage that they take when your shields are off cooldown. One of the best ones that also synergizes with her shields is Malink's Prayer. 240 health and basic armor, exactly what she needs as a tanky support. Rallying Shout. Just heal people, 275 health every 80 seconds, and they gain basic armor for 20 seconds. So it's a perfect card to go along with her shields, and it helps her because she can't heal people, right? She can only mitigate damage, but now she can. So fantastic card for Muriel. I think it's a must-have. Man, there you guys go. There is my top must-have card for each and every hero. And of course, guys, that is according to my own recommendations and reasoning, and yours could be different. Hopefully I justified my reasoning enough so that maybe you understand and go, oh yeah, that is pretty damn good. So let me know down in the comments if there's any other card that you think is better for a specific hero or for a particular purpose, as I would love to learn from you, and I would love for other people to learn from you as well. Please like this video if you like it, dislike it if you dislike it, share it with the community, and of course, guys, subscribe. You guys like this content, especially if you found it useful. Please subscribe so I can do it for you in the future. If you would like to support me on a regular basis, please head on over to my Patreon account where you can make a pledge to help me do what I love. Till next time, like always, guys, stay optimistic and positive.